Okay, I think I'm here. Few technical issues this morning. Bit stressful. Set it up half an hour ago, all working, came to sit down 3 minutes before start time, and it all disappeared. But we're here. Hopefully you can see me, hopefully you can hear me. Good morning, Tina. Good morning, Steve. Good evening, Sephora. Good morning, Kerry and Ebony. Good morning, Lucky Fairy Queen. No, you're not late. I was late. um, Steve started already. Get in there. Good morning, Diane. Good morning, Lena. Back to intent again. Surely anything can be a magical tool. Well, that's where we'll head. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning, Tony. Yeah, sorry, technical issues this morning. Things not working. That's because we got new computers yesterday. So it's all you start messing with the computers and it all goes pear-shaped. Anyway, this morning's subject, magical tools. So we are a little bit upside down here at the minute. We're having our bedroom renovated. So all of my witchy stuff is hidden in cupboards and boxes. So it kind of prompted me to think about magical tools of all kinds. And I include kind of everything in that, really. Cauldrons, wands, altar items, even, I guess, candles, herbs, all of the stuff. Do we need them? Do you use them? Do you use all of the magical tools? Do you have a favorite magical tool? Did you used to use them? Do you not now? Any preferences? How do you think it works? Thoughts on magical tools of all kinds. That's today's subject. Good morning, Christine. Good morning, Claire. Good morning, Jackie. Good morning, Emma. No, it was me being late this morning because I didn't have a camera, basically. Was not working. But there you go. Good morning, Susan. Good morning, Maria. Good morning, Xenia. Xenia has beautiful sunny weather here. We have a very miserable, grumpy Eric this morning. And cloudy, grey. What are you doing? You going to come around here? You going to come here? Eric? He's very grumpy this morning. You going to come around here? There. That better? Sitting in an armchair now. Good morning, Jane. Lovely sunny day. Off to the tip. Garden clearing, lugging hardcore about. That sounds like fun, Jackie. Well, the garden bit does, but not the rest. Good morning, Humphrey. Damp Herefordshire. Yeah, it's a little bit grey here today. Let's get some of these up. Good morning, David. Good morning. Got nephew staying for the weekend. All enchantments for calming the bleep down would be appreciated. Yeah, chaos. We like a bit of chaos. Right. What has life done to Eric today? It hasn't provided him with a blanket. So that's what I'm going to do right now. Still here. I'm just going to get his blanket. There you are, Your Royal Highness. You're right now. He needed a blanket, apparently. Right. You ever get that feeling it's going to be one of those days? Zephora. Would like a magical tool that keeps dust off my magical tools, then I would have more. Yes, absolutely. The older I get, the more I think, no, I don't want that. It'll gather dust. No, let's have a plain one because anything with patterns will gather dust. Yeah. Yep. Maria, I've accumulated so much stuff on my shelves. I'm dreading clearing it out. I had to clear out the witchy room to put all the bedroom furniture in it while the bedroom's being done. Cannot get to anything. Eric is very grumpy today, Xenia. I don't know what's up with him at the minute, but yeah, I know the feeling. Emma, I have a wand that I had made for me when I first started my path. Still have it, and it's very delicate now, so I daren't use it. I think it's nice to have there's lots of beautiful things out there. There are lots of beautiful things, and there's some amazing crafters that make beautiful magical tools. But I've also got some very magical, powerful stuff that I made myself. It might not look pretty, but it works. I must admit, when I first started, I had a list. I went through the books and wrote a list, huge list of all the magical tools that I thought I needed. Everything: cauldrons, wands, chalice, athame, bells. Never used a bell ever. I had 2 of them. Never used them. I think I've got 2 athames. I think I've only ever used one of those once. Wands, have been gifted several, bought a couple, never used them. I find a wand quite... The length of the wand is supposed to be from your elbow to the tip of your finger, I think, which is really long. And I felt so weird. It felt very uncomfortable. So I've never used it. Probably the magical tool that I kept and have used all the time is my cauldron, because I like to burn stuff. So it's brilliant for that. But I think if you are starting out, it is interesting to work with the magical tools to see if they work for you or not. I think there are cases where working with tools is the right thing to do. We've led a few hand fastings, and that's nice to have all the ceremonial stuff for that. There's a from here I can see the roof of a house in the next street. There's a crow sitting on top of the chimney pot, and he's obviously found something a bit delicious to eat because he's sitting there pecking about at it. Bless him, or her. So yeah, I've got crows this morning having his breakfast. Anyway, distracted already. It is going to be one of those days. Let's have a look. Right, Lucky Fairy Queen. When I started, I thought tools were extremely important. Bought as many as I could find. Yes, I did the same. But currently I use crystals, candles, and a chalice for offerings the most. It's about intentions for me now. I have used a chalice. I have got a couple of them. I don't tend to use them. He's feeding another bird. Sorry. Oh, that's really sweet. Sorry, the crow. Anyway, crystals. I've got tons of crystals. I use them in spell work. I use the tumble stones in spell work. Not so much very often anymore. Candles I use all the time. Love candle magic, my kind of go-to. But you're right, intention. All of it is intention. Even if you use a wand or a chalice, it has to have that intent for it to work. It's a bit like any spell, really. You can say all the words, you can read them, you can say them, but unless you've got your will and intent behind them, they're just words. So anything, whether you're using a wand or a chalice or an athame or whatever it might be, has to have that will and intent behind it, absolutely. Good morning, Steve. Jackie, gardening renovations knocked out an old raised pond that was past its best, so hence the hardcore getting a new greenhouse. Very exciting. Yes, we have a day in the garden planned next week to sort it all out and get it all ready for the season. Lucky Fairy Queen, can do without most, but sometimes the wand and the athame are what I need to get me to focus. The whole point really about tools, particularly the wand and the athame, is that they focus the energy. That is the point. That is what they're meant to do. So yes, absolutely. David, my home is being destroyed by 2 insane spaniels. I grew up with Springer Spaniels. They're all insane. They're all absolutely bonkers, but lovely. Christine now talking about Springer Spaniels. Brain is my magical tool. Yeah, absolutely. But it is, isn't it? That's kind of the base of it all, isn't it? That is where it all comes from. Good morning, Eve. Maria. I have a wand, a singing bowl, and a small besom for smudging. I have a small besom, like a tiny besom, that's hung in the front porch that's got cinnamon on it as well for welcoming positive energies. For smudging, I tend to use a feather, I guess because I work with magpie, with pigeon, with seagull. So birds very much feature in my practice. So I use a bird wing generally, or a feather. Singing bowl. I haven't found one yet that resonates with me. Most of the singing bowls and the crystal bowls set my teeth on edge. It's vibrations, isn't it? So it's about finding a sound that resonates with you. As I say, I've got several ones, just don't really use them very much. Jackie, bells are handy to have for summoning the kitchen staff to bake you a cake. Unfortunately, I am the kitchen staff. I would have to ring the bell for myself. Steve, my wand is my index finger. Yes, empowered with my will and intent. It tends to be what I use, my finger, for casting circles, for working magic, for setting the intent, for putting things in motion. Yes, absolutely. Zenny, I'm obsessed with daggers. Okay, scary. Like Gerald Gardner. So I have a few. I have 2 wands and I use them. I've got gifted a bell, always forget to use it. Yeah, I did. A bell was one of the first things on my list, but I don't think I've ever used it in anything. It is quite good for clearing negative energy. It's quite good for calling in the quarters, but I've never felt the need to use it really. Daggers, yes. Always handy to have, just in case. Not for magical use, just handy. Steve, pruning a rose bush recently, ended up with a wand completely covered in very sharp thorns. Many thoughts went through my mind as to uses of this. Now, I do have a piece of rose with all the thorns still on it. I don't use it as a wand, but it is there for magical purpose. Rose thorns, very, very useful. Sephora, I have to wait for the universe to put tools in my path, as I don't like buying stuff new or pay for retail. I say it's my Scottish heritage servicing. I think I very rarely buy anything unless it's in the sale or in the charity shop. So I'm with you. Absolutely. Wands, I guess, are one of the most easy things to make. They are, or can be, just twigs or branches, I guess. But there are ways to make all sorts of your own tools. And I think if you do make them yourself, they've got that extra layer of your personal energy in them. But I guess it depends whether you want it to look beautiful and how crafty you are. Crow is chatting up his... But he is. There's the 2 of them, so they've gone now. There was the 2... I thought he was eating something. He was actually, kissing. Twitter, what did you call it? Twitter-pated. Yes, there was a bit of that going on, I think. Emma, in all fairness, I'd be distracted. Yes, I was distracted by a crow, but you're all right. He's gone now. That's what happens when you sit by the windows. See, it's like, oh, look what's happening. Oh, shiny things. Karen, I have a lot of tools, been at this for many decades now. Yes. Yeah, I'm in my 4th decade of doing this now. That's quite scary, isn't it? Most of my favourite ones are things I've found on the ground and adapted. Yeah, like nature provides, doesn't it? Nature does provide. And if you are of the kitchen witch variety, then your cauldron can be a casserole dish. I've got some beautiful glasses and candle holders that I use on my altars that have come from charity shops. It is about what works for you. It is about not breaking the budget as well. But charity shops, definitely keep an eye out. They're always useful places to find odd bits and pieces that can be utilised for your altar or for magic workings. Absolutely. And of course, Mother Nature. Kerry, don't be sorry. Try and fix on birds quite regularly. We do have crows. We do have magpies. A lot of pigeons. A lot of sparrows. We do have a robin now that comes into the garden, and we do have seagulls. we don't get any of the fancy birds, but yeah, it's good to watch. Interesting to watch. I am going to be very distracted this morning. Steve. Another very powerful wand from pruning was 2 intertwined pieces of corkscrew hazel. It's fascinating when the woods grow together. I have a wand that is wood that had ivy growing around it, so it's a twisted shape to it. Mother Nature does make some beautiful things, absolutely. And wands in particular, I guess, because they're made of wood, of one sort or another, you get the added layer of energy from that actual tree. I've got a very delicate apple tree wand, which is lovely. It's got such a gentle, almost kind of lyrical energy to it. Very special. That's my Avalon wand. David, love my whisk. I use it to cleanse things. I love that. I feel it has the personality of a bossy housekeeper, as that's how I feel whenever I pick it up. I love it. But that, for me, is brilliant. That is working kitchen witch magic. That is working folk magic. Absolutely. Use your whisk. I love it. Luna, I think my main tool is the witch's cauldron. Yeah, that would be mine. It's good for burning stuff. And I like setting fire to things. Sephora. Actually, the main tool I use is candles and crystals. Yep, candles would be my next as well. That's my kind of go-to for any spell work is candles. Lucky Ferrican. We have a hummingbird visiting our balcony, hoping it nests. Oh, blood. We don't get hummingbirds here, so that's very magical. Diane, bells are one of the few things I use. Okay, finds it clears the energy in the space quite well. Yes, it's sound, isn't it? And sound vibration is really good for clearing energy, clearing negative stuff. I absolutely understand the process of it. It's just not something I've been drawn to use, and I think that is one of the most important things. Witchcraft is very personal. Your own pathway is very personal. What works for you might not work for someone else, and vice versa. It is about making it personal to you. There's no right and wrong as far as I'm concerned. It has to work for you. Maria, just point or make sigils in the air. Yes, I have crow feathers used for smudging. Feathers do lean themselves towards smudging really well, don't they? The whole wafting of a feather. I think that the important thing is that the tool has to feel right for you. And if you are starting out, do try them all. But I think remember that sometimes tools take a while to connect with. Like anything, I guess, really new tarot decks or anything like that, crystals, you have to connect with their energy. You might want to cleanse them first if they have been in a shop or if they've travelled through the postal system or anything that can pick up any other energies. You might want to cleanse them first. And then it's quite a nice idea to dedicate them to make that connection to your working. Tell the magical tool what it's there for and what you want it to do for you. You can anoint them, you can sprinkle herbs on them, salt water, bearing in mind, whatever type it is. Just dedicate it really to the purpose and then build that connection with it. The more you use it, the more of a connection you're going to get with it. So it is time as well, I guess, it takes for each of the tools for you to connect with them. If you don't use them, then there's probably not going to be a lot of connection. Just thoughts, random thoughts. Xenia is answering. In these books, mostly how to use these items is being explained, but not the inner work. Yes, once I learned the inner work, I don't need 2 tools at all. In Ritual at Home, I mostly use an athame or wand for casting the circle, candles, oils, cauldron and paper to burn. I use a feather to cleanse the smoke so the fire alarm doesn't go off. Yes, be mindful of fire alarms. Kerry, pointy finger. Yeah. Luna loves a singing bowl. I love the idea of a singing bowl. I just haven't found one that resonates with me yet. Sephora, the problem with bells is they scared the cats and set the dog off. Yes. Eric is not overly keen on the drum, I must admit. Humphrey, bells are wonderful for cleansing crystals in my experience. Yes, that would work brilliantly. Yes, I like how the sound vibration worked with cleansing the crystals. Brilliant. Maria's phone is speaking for her. Yeah. Is that wise? I don't know. Jane, mostly done with simple thoughts these days, constantly asking angels for help. Barely get enough time to focus on my Kitchen Witch homework, but gradually getting there. All takes time. It is about enjoying the journey. Interesting you mentioned angels. That's another question, not related to magical tools at all. Do people work with angels as witches? I know they do. Jane says she does. I must admit, it's not anything that I've ever really worked with. I have called in the archangels in Wiccan rituals at the beginning of my journey, but I must admit, I don't feel a connection to them anymore. Haven't really worked with them. But that's just a random question to throw in there. Nothing to do with magical tools at all. Christine, I have all the tools as any witch would, but my favourite is a metal tree figure that has all the tiny little things gifted to me. Owl keyring, crafted spiderweb, goddess figure, mini besom, and lots of other mini things. But I look at it and use my mind to work for me in the morning. Brilliant. That sounds beautiful. Tina, I have a miniature bell I love to use, a really nice sound. Also sometimes use it for clearing negative energy. I guess bells are the same as singing bowls, really, aren't they? They have that particular vibrational sound. It's that resonance, isn't it? There's a note in it, isn't there? So it has to be the right one to work. Jane, rose thorns, hocus pocus. I use rose thorns a lot. Rose thorns are brilliant for working. They carry all the energy of rose, but then you get the protection from the thorn. You get the directional energy. You get the getting to the point energy. Very useful things for carving on candles, for using in all kinds of spell working. Very useful. Luna, I think you're better off making your own wand as it's a personal thing. Did buy one, I don't connect with it. There's something to be said for making your own tools. I think there is, absolutely. I think if you do make your own tools, then you have got that extra layer of magical energy there. And I have made my own wands. I have got a couple that were gifted to me that are beautiful that I didn't make, and particularly the applewood one. I've got a wand made from the root of a yew tree as well, which is an amazing energy that I was gifted. I think it's about the actual item, what it's made from, who made it, where it came from. I think all of those things come into play. So absolutely, yes, if you can make them yourselves, I think it brings that extra layer of energy to it. But also don't discount other things as well, because you might be drawn to something else. It's about connection, like anything is in this whole magical world. It's about connection and whether you connect to that item or not, I think. David, made myself a wand, an athame, and do I use them? Nope. I use my foraging knife more for magical uses and sometimes opening boxes. That my original Wiccan teaching is horrified. Then the whisk comes out to cleanse it again. I so love the idea of the whisk cleansing. That's brilliant. Very domestic witchcraft. The athame is interesting. So I have used it on occasion in ceremonies to cast the circle. I used a sword once, so heavy. I can barely lift it. Not practical at all. The idea of the athame is that it is a ceremonial dagger and it's not sharp. So that, I guess so that you don't end up stabbing yourself. It is about cutting through energy rather than physical things. And the law always was that you didn't use it for practical uses like opening boxes. But we're special, aren't we? We are. we buck the rules. The idea was that you kept it separate and only used it for magical purpose. But that's the go against all the rules. Definitely go against all the rules. I love it. Jane, I think the crow's gone off somewhere to be a bit more private. Yeah, do you think he realised I was watching him? I can't see them now. Definitely. Get a room. Maria. Whole bunch of key rings could be used to magic. Oh, keys. Now there's a whole chat in itself, the use of magical keys. Very, very huge amount of folklore and magic associated with keys. Emma, my bell is my great grandma's. I bought it for her from a boating school trip and felt it'd be nice to bring a bit of her with me in rituals. Love it. Love it. I think some of these items are, aren't they? If they've got that connection to them. I'm sitting in the kitchen today with all of my old stuff, junk that I collect. A lot of this old glass I use in magical workings for holding herbs or candles, or the glass trays for putting a spell together in. It doesn't have to be a magical tool. You can use whatever you've got to hand and whatever works. But I love the idea of bringing the energy from a loved one in as well. I like the old stuff. I like collecting the old stuff, crockery, glass, and things, because it's got a history. It's got an energy to it itself. You have to bear in mind that if you do buy something from a charity shop, it may well have a bit of energy that needs clearing from it. Just cleansing and clearing it won't clear the history of it, but it will just clear out any negative energy. Maria, what kind of whisk? I'm assuming you mean just a balloon whisk, not an electric whisk. That would get the energy going. David, getting into nesting season, the rooks and crows are already building round our way. I think that perhaps they were sitting on a chimney pot, so they might have been, doing a bit of real estate checking out. Karen, got a little set of bells and a Christmas cracker one year. They were a treat. Brilliant. See, this is it. This is about making things work for you. Absolutely. Diane, I found a whole load of swan feathers. They're fabs for smudging. Brilliant, because they're a nice size too, aren't they? Excellent. Good morning, Jalala. Lucky Fairy Creek. Love the crockery in the background. Absolutely gorgeous. Thank you. I do have a bit of a thing for collecting glass, crockery, that side, cookie jars. Anything from Victorian, Edwardian, particularly I love the 20s, but right through to the 30s and 40s as well. Got the odd bit of 50s stuff. The plates that we eat our dinner off are all odd, old ones that, all mismatched stuff. I'll buy old rather than buy new, definitely. But I do use a lot of it for magical purpose. Christine, I have a kiddie toy shaker with bells. I'm often heard ringing and singing when things annoy me. I could have done one of those this morning when the computer wouldn't work. I love it. For a long time, I had an image of my main animal, spirit guide, the wild boar, on my altar, and it was a plastic Playmobil wild boar figure from one year the kids had a Playmobil advent calendar, and it had a wild boar in it. So I stole it. They didn't mind. I bet they didn't even notice. Xenia, I made a wand, never connected to it. Bought an aspen Owen wand and a beech wand, beautifully wood burned with planet symbols. They work well for me. It's got to be right for you, hasn't it? Absolutely. Made my own runes, found a branch, made slices, sanded and wood burned them. Not a good connection. Simply bought amethyst runes, work much better for me. I think let others craft things works well for me. It has to work for you. It has to be a personal thing for you. Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. And it is all about the connection. It is about the connection to them. David, forgot about feathers. I have a few in a jar that I burn to send messages past the veil. Interesting idea. They look like quills in an ink pot. Take one out, write out a sigil or request in the air, and then set light to the feather. Love it. Brilliant idea. Sephora, one of my kids left behind a box of peacock feathers, but reluctant as I think they have bad juju. Thoughts they are beautiful. I have several peacock feathers in a vase upstairs on one of my altars. I think They are very much connected to some of the goddesses. Kali likes a peacock feather. Actually, Kalech quite likes a peacock feather. I have worn them in hats. I have them in vases. I think they are beautiful. It's one of those two-sided things. Some cultures think they are bad luck. Others think they are prosperity, abundance, and all the good stuff. They are rich, they are abundant, they are beautiful colors, and for me they bring that energy with them. So it's a personal choice on that one. Whichever side of the folklore you want to fall, it's how you think about it. But I love them, and I do have them in the house. Maria, singing bowl brings out spirit. The cats react to that. Yeah, cats are very perceptive, aren't they? Good morning, Monique. Interesting. Xenia works with angels. I'm just interested to know, really. You know, they are ancient angels, of course. They do predate Christianity. So, yeah, it's interesting. Xenia, love the sound of singing bowls. Also use them for house cleansing. Sound vibration is absolutely brilliant for clearing and cleansing the house. Jane, my witchy room is so cluttered now. So's mine. It's full of bedroom furniture. And boxes and bags and all sorts of stuff. It's got a bit overwhelming. Needs a good clear out to make space for positive energy. Yeah. It is a very sad fact that when a room is cluttered or very dusty, it does halt the flow of energy in my experience. I feel for you, Jane. Yeah, mine is exactly the same at the moment. Maria, how is the feather connected to the sigil? You could write one mark or letter onto the feather, then burn it. Yes, you could. I'm assuming, David, you draw the sigil with a Sharpie or something on the feather. You could trace it with your finger. You could use salt water. Dip your finger in it and mark the feather with it, I guess. Interesting. I like that idea. I'll steal that one, obviously. Xenia, I like deity and animal statues as representations of your allies as well. Yes. Found a cute wooden Loki statue in Glastonbury. He's now on the altar with wooden Freya, wooden wolves and eagles, and wooden angel. Nice. Yes, I have statues of the Kelech. I have a statue of Belanus. I have representations for Sulis. Still never found a statue of her. In England, anyway. Yeah, I've always have had representations of deities, even if it's just been a gold and silver candle or an athame and a chalice, masculine, feminine. Yeah, I've always had representations of deity on there. And I do have a little separate altar for my wild boar. He has a couple of bits that I've been gifted. I've had a couple of people gift me key rings and statues of the wild boar. My thanks to you guys, which are amazing. And I have a candle. My wild boar, very strong masculine energy, very warrior energy, likes to have a pink candle. I don't know, sassy pink candle. That's what he likes. So that's on his altar as well. And some artwork as well of wild boar. So my wild boar has his own little altar, really. But yeah, again, altars have to work for you. When I started my original training, when I was training in Wicca, everything had its place on the altar. You had to have the goddess on the left, God on the right, representations of the four elements in their right place. There was an athame, there was a wand, there was the pentacle. Everything had to be in its right place. And it was brilliant to start out with because it taught me about altars and altar structure. But over the years, that's all gone by the wayside. And I do just trust my intuition now about what I need to put on there, where it needs to go, what positions things need to be in. So I've got several altars and they're all fairly chaotic. Really, I think anything sort of becomes an altar. All the stuff behind me is kind of an altar with all nice things on it and things that have meaning for me. There is an altar out in the garden. There's a working altar upstairs. I've got an altar to the Kelech. I've got an altar to Sulis, ortobalanas. They grow. They're a bit like, as soon as you have one, then you get more. It happens. I was taught the athame is representing the male. Yes, it does. And the chalice represents the female. One gets dipped into the other for fertility. Yeah, absolutely. That is the whole idea in the Wiccan training, is the chalice is the feminine, the athame is the masculine, and they come together. When we've done hand fastings, we've tended to work with that idea. It is very representative. The cauldron obviously is quite a feminine energy as well. It is that shape. It's all representative, isn't it? It's all those ideas. Diane, I used to use an athame to cast a circle when I first started. Then someone with more experience told me I shouldn't, as it was cutting the energy, so stopped using it for that purpose. Oh, don't you love people that have experience and opinions? I have, in ceremony, used an athame to cast the circle. It is traditionally used to cast the circle in a lot of traditions, as is the wand. They are interchangeable. The athame is used in Wiccan circles to cut a doorway if you need to step out of the circle, and then you close it again with the athame to come back in. So it is used for that purpose, but it's not only used for cutting energy. You also use the athame to close the doorway afterwards. So I would say absolute tosh. And you can quote me on that. Tina, is the bowline used for cutting plants? Yes, there's another tool. The bowline is usually a curved knife, and it is a practical one. Think about Getafix, the druid in the Asterix books. He always had a curved bowline on his belt. It is a more traditional druid tool, and it is curved specifically because that makes it easier for cutting herbs, and that's all it's used for, is cutting magical herbs. I have never had one. I have a secateurs that I use for cutting the herbs because it's a lot easier. But yes, traditionally, bowline's used for cutting plants, magical plants. Emma, I use different ones for different people during healing sessions. Nice. To remove past threads from a person, so a pointed wand, remove threads and a pendulum to find the threads of past wounds. I think that's the lovely idea with wands that are made from different woods. Each wood will bring its own magical energy with it. So you could have a wand for healing. Crystal wands make nice wands for healing, or copper ones as well. My apple wand I use for any Avalon work that I'm doing. The U wand I have used in the past for any ancestor work or other world work. Just off the top of my head now, a hedgerow wand, so a hawthorn stick wand would be brilliant for using in your hedge riding, in your other world work. Willow wands would be really good for emotional healing, emotional spell working. All of those trees have their different connections, their different properties. So having different wands from different woods for different purpose works very well. Jane, athame laws have changed dramatically. If Jason Mankey says it's okay to cut stuff with it, then it is. I think it is. You know, the athame always was used for casting circles. So, yeah, I don't have a problem with that. The thing with cutting things with an athame is literally pointless. The ceremonial dagger, the athame, isn't sharp. They don't have sharp edges. So if you're using an athame to cut herbs, it's not going to work because it doesn't have a sharp edge. But using the athame to cut doorways in circles, to cast circles, yes, absolutely. But they aren't sharp. So from a practical point of view, it wouldn't work so much. David, use a feather like a pen and I use it to write in the air. Oh, okay, for drawing your sigils in the air. So you use the pen as a quill, like it. Steve, always felt that the pointy end of an athame concentrates the energy put into it. Yeah, like static discharge from a pointy electrical thingy. Love it when we get technical. Yeah, that makes sense, doesn't it? The energy is conducted through you, not drawn from you. Don't draw energy from yourself because that will leave you exhausted. Your body conducts the energy. Pull it in from the ground, from Mother Earth, from the air around you, from the sky above you. We channel the energy, then it channels through the athame or the wand, and it comes out the other end. Yeah, concentrated, directed, focused. Absolutely. Xenia, for shamanic work, I have a drum and a rattle. They lend themselves to shamanic work perfectly, don't they? Use the rattle more for calling in spirits, drum for journeying. Yes, I like a drum for journeying. Switch to recorded drum track. That works as good. Yes, I like the recordings of the drum track because then I don't have to focus on actually doing the drumming. It helps. It helps. Do love keys. Yeah, keys very magical, Eve. Lint bells that you get on the chocolate rabbits are brilliant, especially the big rabbit bell. And you get to eat the chocolate. Bonus. I have bells. I have witch bells. I do have witch bells. They're quite interesting to work with. Karen, stalls at festivals are so tempting though. Oh yes, so many beautiful handmade items. I justify buying a little something because I'm supporting an artist, which is totally different to buying mass-produced tat. Do not get me started, or Jackie, on witchy tat. I'm with you, absolutely with you. There are a lot of markets. The Witches Market in Glastonbury make a point of having crafters, those that hand make items, and so many of them are so talented, and so many things out there that are beautiful. I would happily buy those things. I don't want to buy commercialized witchy tat shipped in from China or wherever it's made. No disrespect to China, but I don't want plastic witchy tat. I don't want ceramic witchy tat. Yeah. Support the individual artists, absolutely. Steve, Jackie likes 50s stuff too. That's why she married me. The very first time I saw Jackie, she looked the whole 50s vibe. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Oh, I like old stuff. Maria, have small witch bells on my front door, which jingle every time it's opened. Yes, witch bells are really good for clearing negative energy, bringing in the positive. So they work really well on doors. Sephora, nighttime here and little owls are moth hunting and crying out their moorpork sound outside. Amazing. Never hear an owl around here. Fabulous. Emma, bubble bath bottles and dry peas to cleanse energies. I have a plan. Brilliant. Anything, rattles and drums and things can be made with old biscuit tins, Tupperware things with lids, or Pringles tubes with the lid on. But yeah, bubble bath bottle, dry peas, genius. Hannah, used to have a wooden letter opener. Letter openers work quite well as athames, but now I don't use tools. They're just on display on my altar. I think that's the thing, isn't it? Perhaps they do have dual purpose magical tools. You can use them, obviously, for directing energy, for focusing energy, but they also are representative of masculine, feminine, the elements, whatever it is you need it to be. Yeah, absolutely. Luna, I have a collection of witch bells now. It's knowing where to hang them on the doors. Put them on the doors. Diane made salt dough runes once. They went mouldy. Oh no, that's not drying them out properly. Salt dough, if it's baked properly, will last for ages. Humphrey, one of my favourite magical tools is my Shruti box. I use it for chanting during meditation and rituals, and it really helps raise the energy. Brilliant. Sound again, isn't it? Sound is excellent because it works on vibrations. Luna, I don't believe peacock feathers are unlucky. Have them in my house. They are beautiful. Yes, I'm with you, Luna. Absolutely with you. Christine, my dad used to freak out about peacock feathers. He always said they had the evil eye on them. Well, I guess they do have an eye, don't they, in the head of the feather. I love them. Yeah, I love them. Diane, I think I'd use peacock feathers for glamour magic. Peacock energy, brilliant for glamour magic, but it brings confidence. Think about the peacock, the male peacock, and his big old feathers out, strutting his funky stuff. You don't get more self-confidence than that, do you? So peacock works brilliantly for that. Jane, the athame is definitely phallic. Oh, yeah, absolutely. In a ritual a few years ago, I was standing right near the high priest when he dipped his athame in the high priestess chalice. I could tell what he was thinking by the way he was breathing. But in Wiccan practice, that's absolutely what it is. It is the god and the goddess coming together in unity. That is just the whole premise of it. Xenia, stalls sell very beautiful things. Yes, and we do need to support our independent artists. Absolutely. Sephora, I'm going to commandeer the peacock feathers as I do love and think the eye bit is protective. Go for it. Steve, I class my journal as a magical tool and, of course, all of my books. Oh, yes. Books are very precious. I am very, very, very protective of my books. No one's going to be folding the corners of the pages over in this house. Journal is a tricky one for me. I love the idea of journaling. I recommend it, particularly moon journals. But sorry, there's a magpie sitting on the room. Morning, magpie. How's the family? Oh no, there's two of them. That's good. I am going to put myself away from the window. It's not good, is it? The idea of journaling is good. If it works for you, brilliant. I think it can be very therapeutic. I am a bit rubbish about keeping up with journals. I buy a beautiful journal, I write on the first page, and then it doesn't happen. This is my journal. This is me waffling on the camera is my journal. But yes, I think absolutely journal is a magical tool. Definitely. Xenia, lint rabbit bells, collect them and add them to the ones that hang on my broom. Fabulous idea. Love that idea. They are the perfect size for that too, aren't they? Maria, too much information. No, the athame and the chalice, male, female, that's what it's all about. That's the whole idea of it. That's just what happens. Christine, got a figure of Persephone and a figure of Merlin with baby King Arthur, but my others are felt made, but just as good. Oh, yeah, some of the felting stuff is amazing. Tony makes amazing felt figures, just unbelievable. I have a figure of Merlin too. Merlin's interesting to work with. Jane, never been big on deities. It's a personal thing. But I did find a blue ceramic figure of St. Anthony in a chazza. That is a thrift shop for anybody over the pond. And I talk to it a lot when things go missing. It has to work for you. And I think particularly with deity, that is a very, very personal thing. Claire, handheld mirror can be useful. I think we've said before, mirror magic, whole episode all by itself. We'll put that on the list. Very, very magical. Maria, I only have a mini statue of Hestia. She's the only one I feel connected to. In the end, we all usually place items where they feel right. Yes, absolutely. It would be pointless me having a statue of Hestia on my altar because I don't work with her. Yeah, it's got to work with you, for you rather. Xenia, in my country, I didn't hear about peacock feathers being unlucky. I connect them to Venus. Yeah, that works. That works. Different cultures have different ideas about the peacock feathers. Christine, Dorset Grove have antlers with bells wrapped around it, open this circle. It's lovely to hear. Yes, I have a silver bow, which is an Avalonian thing, which is basically a apple tree stick with silver bells on it, and that's brilliant. It's what everyone's saying is about gross. The male and female, the athame, the chalice, very Wiccan. But that's the whole idea about it. It is the union of male and female. Jane, there will always be witches with opinions and superior knowledge. Oh, yeah, ain't that the truth? It's not just witches. I can smell a gatekeeper a mile off. They only raise themselves up by putting other people down. It happens. It does happen. Unfortunately, there are human beings that are. That's how they roll. It's just keep a wide berth. Keep a wide berth. Humphrey, I have several different wands made from various woods, and they definitely do have different energies and work for different kinds of spells and ritual. Yes, absolutely. And it's about connecting with them, isn't it? It's about holding that wand and making that connection, or athame, or chalice, or whatever it might be. Making that connection, finding out what energies it has and how it can work with you or for you. Absolutely. Emma, was anyone else told that once an athame has tasted blood, it is useless in ritual? Can't remember who told me, but believed it for the longest time. That actually kind of makes sense, but doesn't. Because the athame is a ceremonial tool, it is not sharp. So it could be used to draw blood. But blood magic is a whole other thing as well. And I have known people use the athame to dip in blood for blood magic ceremonies. So I guess, again, that is a personal thing. I can see both sides of that. Anyone got any thoughts on that? For me, it's kind of, I've seen athames used dipped in blood anyway, so that kind of doesn't, but I guess it depends how you feel about it. Xenia, lint rabbits. I think we should be on a commission with lint rabbits today. Bell, red ribbon, chocolate, shiny foil. Oh, so many uses. Oh, and the rabbit. Fertility energy, definitely. Jane, which bells dangle from the door handles upstairs for protection at night? The bells on my bedroom door were jingling one night. Somehow I knew it was my nana visiting. They do work very well on doors. Yeah, definitely. Diane, I have the most beautiful handmade silver headdress worn of woven ivy leaves. I bought a witch dress once. I adore it. Polish it, pick up, stroke it, but I never ever wear it. I have some, actually, you can just see it above my head. That is the tiara that my mum wore at her wedding. She made it for her own wedding. And I wore it at mine as well. Yeah. Energy. Oh, energy and memories. I knew I shouldn't have mentioned witchy tat. Jackie, big boobed goddesses scantily clad. Why are they always like that? They are, aren't they? Most of the statues. But then, to be fair, when we went to Athens, all of the statues of the goddesses were scantily clad with, bits hanging out. Crystal stuck on a wizard statue, endless tat with a pentagram plastered all over it, so it's witchy. Yeah, I'm with you. I am with you on that. I will not be buying any of that. Lucky Fairy Queen. Peacock feathers are actually considered lucky in my culture. They keep lizards away as well. Interesting. David, I thought the peacock feather dispelled the evil eye. It did. There are different views in different cultures about peacock feathers and whether they do dispel the evil eye or bring the evil eye. Tina, I recently made a feather smudger with air drying clay for a handle. Love it. Brilliant. More votes for peacock feathers being lucky. Yep. Yes, peacocks are also Hera's bird, so linked to the home and marriage. Yes, absolutely. Yeah, I'm just going to put Tony's up here. So Tony at Ishtar Freya Handmade Creations, if you would like any amazing felted goddesses, do have a look for Ishtar Freya Handmade Creations. They are beautiful. I have one as a tree top of Christmas tree. Beautiful. Maria, started a moon diary before the new moon and just forget about it. So I'll begin again at the full moon and set a reminder. Yeah, my brain works like that too, Maria. Humphrey, often wondered what it would be like to work with Merlin. I have worked with Merlin on occasion. Very, very interesting energy. Very interesting. Steve, cannot fathom the notion that male female Athame chalice is gross or weird. It's fertility, birth, continuation. Yeah, it is weird, isn't it? It is one of those things that you're either going to love it or hate it. But it is representations of all of those things, and unity. Yeah. Christine, my Athame is my protection at night. It's by my bed, always along with a huge sword. Oh, that's protection. Way too heavy to hold or to cast a circle. Yeah, sword's way too heavy. Way too heavy. Oh, I'm getting reminders now of things I'm supposed to tell you. So, this Saturday, 8th of March, 6 to 8 p.m. on the usual places, on my Facebook, on Kitchen Witch, and my YouTube channel, we're running a spring ritual and workshop. 2 hours. Myself, Heather, and Ness. We're going to go through all the correspondences and all the energies of the spring equinox, and we'll do an online ritual as well, free, open to everyone. That's Saturday the 8th of March. We'll also be at the Wild Witchcraft Conference on the 22nd of March. We'll be at the Wandering Witches on the 12th of April. I'm also running a Dragon Magic workshop for College of Psychic Studies on the 5th of April. All the details are on the website, so my website, Kitchen Witch website, so have a look. Xenia, barely clad goddess statues for the male gaze. Glad I finally found a decent wood carving of Freya statue on Etsy. Actually, if you're looking for Norse carved statues, Weird Raven in Glastonbury has some amazing stuff. Jane bought a lovely felted black cat at Witchfest. He's called Paddy Paws. My altar is a territory. Brilliant. Christine, working with Merlin, I find is gentle and calm yet protective. Yeah, I would agree with that. He is a lovely masculine energy. Yes, yes, definitely, I'd go with all of that. Emma, Tony has also made other things too. Yes. Morrigan key thingy that I placed around my statue of Morrigan, very talented. Yes, definitely. Magical tools. Try it is the baseline of that, I think. You won't know whether the magical tool works for you or not until you try it. Don't just try one wand and think that doesn't work for you, because each one will have its own unique energy. Same with athames and chalices and all of it. Work with it and see how you find it. I think it's interesting to work with tools on occasion. Some situations demand it. Generally, I don't work with many tools these days. I do like to dress an altar with them though, so that works. So yeah, do what works for you, really, I think, but give it a try. If anybody would like to share images of your altars or your magical tools, do please pop photos on the Kitchen Witch Coven Facebook group. If you are interested in keeping up with what I'm doing, work in progress, what the girls are doing, what we're doing as Kitchen Witch at a whole, if you want prompts on daily practices and all sorts of other stuff, we are running a Patreon type thing over on the Kitchen Witch website. The Witch's Hearth is £2 a month, and you get all sorts of stuff behind the scenes. So have a look if that is of interest to you. If you're a student, then you get free access to that anyway. So there you go. I'm going to have a sip of tea because I haven't so far and it's gone cold. There may not be a chat next week. I will keep you updated. The girls and I are going on a jolly to see lots of deer, but I don't know the timings yet. So I'll. Maria says the worksheet for tomorrow. Yes, have a look on the Facebook event for the spring equinox ritual. There's a list and all sorts of stuff on the event, bits and pieces that you need or might want to use. Do have a look. So thank you, everyone. Have a hello, dog. Yeah, it's finished. There we go. Vintage Witchcrafts. Let's put this up as well. Have a look at Vintage Witchcraft YouTube channel. Knitting, quilting, crafting stuff, some gardening. Excellent. Hop on over. Brilliant. Have a good week, people. Enjoy the spring energy if you are in the Northern Hemisphere. Look out for the crows. Otherwise, have a fantastic time, and I will catch you on the flip side. Take care, everyone.